We have observed in our day to day life that our surroundings are filled with different kinds of matter of all three states. The question is, are these matter in their current state from the beginning of time, or they have changed their physical state? We have observed that water changes its state. We freeze water in liquid state to make ice in solid state, and boil water in liquid state to make vapor in gaseous state. Basically, matter can change their physical states. Hello everyone, welcome to the show. I hope you are doing well. In previous episode, we talked about matter and physical nature of matter. In this episode, we are going to talk about how matter changes their physical state, what factors does it depend on, and some application of change in physical state in our daily life. So, let's begin the show. In previous episode, we discussed about particles of matter are continuously in motion and particles of matter have space in between them. We know that particles of matter are continuously in motion due to their kinetic energy. The kinetic energy varies from matter to matter and state to state. One can change the kinetic energy of matter by increasing or decreasing the temperature. If kinetic energy of matter is changed, state of matter will be changed. The space in between the particles of matter are due to the force of attraction in between them. As we have discussed earlier, we can reduce the space between the particles by compressing them. The pressure applied on the particles of matter can reduce the interparticle space and change the state of matter. So, what happens inside the matter during this change of state? What happens to the particles of matter during the change of state? How does this change of state takes place? Let's discuss these questions and find out. We know that different matters have different force of attraction in between their particles. If we will increase the temperature, the kinetic energy of particle will increase and the particles will start moving more rapidly. More heat is provided, more will be the kinetic energy. If heat is provided continuously, a point will come when kinetic energy will overcome the interparticle forces and particles will start moving more freely. Let's take an example. Take ice in a beaker, put it on a stove and set a thermometer in it. Now light the burner and note when ice is started melting. Do it couples of times. You will see that at a particular temperature ice is melting into water. This transformation will happen at 0 degrees Celsius. When ice is completely turned into water, keep the burner on and supply more heat. You will see after supplying high temperature, water will start turning into vapor. This transformation will occur at 100 degrees Celsius. After a little bit, all water will evaporate away in the atmosphere and beaker will remain empty. Now, we can see what is going on with the particles of matter. When water was in solid form, their particles were packed tightly and possessing very low kinetic energy. Then we started to give these particles heat energy by placing them on the burner. Particles started taking heat energy in the form of kinetic energy and started vibrating with greater speed. More we increased the temperature, more particles gained kinetic energy. Then at 0 degrees Celsius, kinetic energy of particles overcome the interparticle forces and started moving more freely with moderate interparticle forces. This was the moment when they changed their state of matter from solid to liquid. On further heating, these particles gain more heat energy and get more excited. At 100 degrees Celsius, the kinetic energy of particles in liquid state overcome the interparticle forces of this state. Moreover, started moving more freely. At this point, particles of liquid started transformed in the gaseous state and evaporated. So, this was the process and phenomena which showed how a matter can change its state by making some changes in temperature. Now have a look how pressure can change the state of matter. As we have discussed earlier, particles of different matter have different amount of space in between them. Particles of solid, liquid, and gaseous state have very low, moderate, and very high interparticle space in between them. So, if somehow we can change these interparticle distances, we can change the state of matter. Apparently, we can do that by applying pressure. We can change the state of gas by applying pressure into a state of liquid. In this process, we will when we will apply pressure on gaseous state, interparticle space of particles will start reducing. A point will come when interparticle space of gaseous state will meet the limit of interparticle space of liquid state. At this point, gaseous state will start changing into liquid state. This process is called condensation. On further application of pressure, similarly interparticle space of liquid state will reduce to interparticle space of solid state, and we can change this liquid state into solid state. This process is called solidification. So now we know that we can change the state of matter using temperature and pressure properly. Here, I am going to take evaporation as a special case. Do we always need temperature and pressure to change the state of matter? No, it's not like that. A state of matter depends on kinetic energy of particles and interparticle space of matter. Hence, if somehow we are able to change the value of these two properties, change in state can be obtained. For example, if water in a bowl is placed in open, it evaporates without attaining boiling point. Similarly, wet clothes get dry when kept widespread. These phenomena happen because the particles of water on surface get much kinetic energy from surrounding to overcome the interparticle forces without attaining boiling point. From observation, we came to know that evaporation depends on four factors. These factors are surface area. If we increase the surface area of matter, there will be more particles on the surface to get energy from surroundings and overcome the interparticle forces. Second, temperature. Temperature provides energy that increases kinetic energy of particle to overcome the interparticle forces. Third, humidity. Humidity is the amount of water vapor in the air. If there is more humidity, there will be less energy for every particles on the surface. Hence, less humidity helps in evaporation. Fourth, wind speed. If wind is blowing over the particles of a surface, the air friction will provide kinetic energy to the particles. When the kinetic energy of particle will overcome the interparticle forces, particles will escape and evaporate. Hence, high wind speed helps in evaporating. Here is an interesting fact. Evaporation causes cooling. It is interesting that when evaporation happens, it causes cooling in surroundings. This phenomenon happens as when matter evaporates, its particles take energy from surroundings to get away, and surrounding left with less energy. When there is less energy in surrounding, it feels cool. So, today we talked about change in physical state of matter, and now it's time to go. But we'll see you soon. Until then, think about this. Why cotton clothes are recommended in summer, and why do we see droplets of water on the outer surface of glass containing ice cold water? Let me know your answer in the comment box. For more information about this or any episode of the series, check out the blog, link is in the description. We have additional content, further readings, and transcript of every show. If you value the show and educational resources and want help to keep it going on, subscribe the channel and also subscribe our blog. Or alternatively, you can like, comment and share the show. It may be just a click for you, but every little bit adds up. Thank you for coming to the channel and watching the video. I hope you love the show.